Welcome back to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We're brought to you by Pelican, built tough for all situations. Go to pelican.com. Yak Gadget, for all your fine kayak fishing accessory needs. Go to yakgadget.com. Eastport Marina, on the beautiful shores of Dale Hollow Lake. For all your lodging, kayaking, and fishing needs, go to eastport.info. Now let's get this show started. Going on Facebook Live, YouTube, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another OG show live. Mr. Randall, how you doing, sir?
I am stupendous, my friend.
Little internet trouble out there in the woods?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, good thing Verizon is so good out in the woods.
Yeah, well, hey, at least you can count on somebody, right?
Yep.
I like it. Going to be talking a little ICast tonight. Few of us from Paddle and Fin are going down. We got some friends of the podcast in here as well that have been to ICast, and some of our guys have never been to ICast. So going to talk a little bit about what the show's about, what it is, what some of us are looking forward to, and things like that. Last year was my first trip down there, and I saw a post by Chris Payne last year. And, he basically stated, all you guys that are sitting at home wishing you were at ICast, you just got to remember that all the folks that are there are putting in a lot of time and work. And I stress the word work. And, standing on concrete for 11 hours at a time and, all kinds of stuff like that. And it's not all the glitz and glamour. It's not like your traditional, fishing or outdoor show and things like that. So I'm going to talk a little bit on that aspect tonight and, talk some cool things that we're looking forward to and all that good stuff. We got my man James in the house. He said, "Woo, it's Brian." See, I got one fan, Jay.
Yeah, and that one's paid, so.
Well, let's get some of our guests in here. We got Matt Gibson in the house, Mr. John Rapp, and Jimmy Skinner.
What up?
John's in the truck. You got a little wind there, John. Roll the window up, bro.
You see his driver? He's moving up. He's got a driver now.
Yeah, drive faster, Jeeves.
I think it's his air conditioning, because we had that same problem with Matt.
I'm going to mute you for a second, John, and then when we come to you, I'll unmute. That way, there we go.
Yeah.
This
is late, but warning to headphone users.
I love it, man. We got ICast 2022 coming up next week, man. So just wanted to chat with you guys. Let's go around. I'll answer for Rapp on this one. I know Rapp has been to ICast previously. And he unmuted himself.
Yeah, he said F you.
Yeah, he's like, I'm talking.
John, how many times have you been to ICast, man?
If I heard you correctly, I apologize. My sound is not good, but Beth and I have been going since 2016. She's been twice, and I've been every year except for the COVID year.
Okay. All right. Mr. Gibson?
I've been once, and that was last year.
Jimmy?
Big Zilchies.
First timer.
Hell yeah. Popping the cherry.
Jay is not going, but you worked one before, haven't you?
No, I haven't. I missed this one by a week.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So, nope. I told you I would have rode your coattails. If you would, you're showing up here anyway, so I was like, I'm gonna go with you guys.
Yeah, right. Last year was my first year, obviously, with Mr. Gibson, and Yeah, it was fun because we worked that show and then we flew up to Minnesota and worked another show. So it was a very long week for us for sure.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
But we'll start with you, Matt. Like last year was your first year. What was something that kind of surprised you that you weren't really sure about or aware of or what the show was like?
Yeah, so it was a little bit different year last year. Still had some COVID stuff going on. A lot of manufacturers decided not to go last year, but just the size of it was just astonishing to me. I mean, I was very surprised. Outside of the convention center there, it looks like a big building, and you get inside, and it's like it just grows even bigger. So just how expansive it was very surprising to me.
Yeah, and that's a great point too, because I know a lot of vendors, like you said, didn't show up because COVID was still kind of going strong and things like that. And a lot of people backed out last minute or just didn't sign up at all.
Yeah.
Whereas looking at the vendor list this year, I mean, it almost looks like it's twice the size of last year.
Yeah.
Well, man, last year's ICast was very empty compared to past years.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no overseas component at ICast last year. Everybody was pretty much home cooking, as I would say. It was all USA brands. Just very, very few out of overseas brands. Hopefully that changes this year.
Oh, it definitely has. I looked at the vendor list on the floor map, and it's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there was a lot of empty booth space last year, and it seems like this year it's definitely the list is much larger than it was the previous year. And then obviously 2020 they didn't even have it if my memory serves me correct.
Yeah, I don't think they did. I can't remember though.
Yeah, I don't think they did either.
I don't think they did because that was like in the heart of COVID. COVID hit beginning of 2020, and then it that was like 4 months into COVID. Nobody knew what was going on.
Right. Everything just sucked.
Yeah. For sure. Jimmy, what are you expecting, or what are you not sure about going into the show?
Ooh. So expecting, kind of on what Matt said, being a lot bigger than I'm ready for. But at the same time, I got to work the National Wild Turkey Show this year at the Gaylord Opryland in Nashville, and that's huge. So
yeah.
I know it's going to be bigger than that, but it at least gives me kind of an idea of what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And then not sure. I don't know, just kind of not sure because I'm going for like the networking aspect, which most people are, as far as like, I'm trying to get us some support and really show the rest of the industry that Paddle and Fin's kind of making moves now, especially since we broke that million, total listens mark. So the thing with that I'd be unsure about is just getting into the conversations. But as I've said in the past, I don't have what my wife says is I've never met a stranger, and I usually leave places with new friends and phone numbers. So
sure,
I think it's everything I think I'm unsure about, I think will be gone within the first like 20 seconds I'm walking around,
Yeah, those conversations happen pretty easily. Like once you get in there and for me, I've had support, been very fortunate with some support from some other companies that I've never got to meet the people until ICast. So it was awesome to meet them there.
Yeah, sure. I'm excited about that for sure. Getting to meet some of the, even like seeing people that we've talked to on here that I know that are going to be there.
Hold on, Jimmy. John, I think you're getting an echo.
Is that better?
That's way better.
Testing. Yeah,
way better. Yeah. All right. Sorry.
Sorry.
And Armando, welcome to the show, bro.
What's up, gentlemen?
So go ahead, Jimmy. Sorry.
But yeah, just like Matt was saying, it'll be cool to meet some of the people from some of the companies that I already work with, and it'll be cool to meet people because I know there's people that we've had on our show and then the OG show and stuff like that. Just different guests and listeners that'll be there that I haven't met, so I'm sure we'll run into them. So it'll be cool.
Right.
Overwhelming, I think that's a word that I could use.
Yeah,
For sure. Armando, this is your first year going to ICast, correct?
Yeah, it's gonna be my first year going out there. Excited about it.
So
Super excited.
the question at hand right now is, what do you think is going to be the most surprising to you about ICast?
I mean, being that I'm never. Let me get my mic steady. I'm sorry. I'm late, by the way. I apologize.
That's right, man. You're looking fresh, bro. Did you just go on a date with the girlfriend or the wife? I mean?
With the wife, yeah. But I've never been there, so to me, I'm not sure what to expect. Which is, I guess, is great. I haven't looked too much into it just because I want to be as surprised as I can about it. But at the same time, there is an aspect of this is not going to Disney World, right? We have to get some business done, not just for Bass Kayak and Beers, but paddle and fin as well. So in a way, I've kind of like talked to people that have gone there before to kind of get a lay of the land and how to, market yourself and what to expect and what not to do. Sometimes when, for me, and I know for most of us that are here on this panel, at some point, we're trying to figure out, and for this industry, this is kind of like, this is still new. So there's the right way to go about things and the wrong way. And I think I'm trying to focus more on that. What is the approach or the angle that you should have and be responsible with it? And as far as what I'm going to see and all that, then that's going to be like going to Disney World to me, get to try the cool stuff, get to talk to people in the industry, both from the social media standpoint, like me and our, and this great group of people right here, but also, from the manufacturer standpoint, what is there, having that one-on-one, I think it's awesome.
Sure. No, I completely agree. Jay, I know you're not going, but how would you answer that question?
I think Armando's on to basically all of it. I mean, you're there to network. I mean, it is a business function, right? This isn't. I mean, you're also going to see some new stuff, but really, you're going to be just meeting everybody in the industry. I would just say, attack it with professionalism and just have a really good real good demeanor and approach. I'd say just be as appropriate as you can. I mean, you're there just to people have seen us on this. I'm sure some people that are going to be there have seen somebody's segment. So right. I mean, they're already going to have a good handle on the way you are as a person. So just be you, of course, and then I guess have a plan as well. What's your plan? Like, what are you trying to achieve? Or what would you like to get into? Do you want to brainstorm with somebody? Just kind of do, if you had some things like, that you've been planning or just things in the back of your head that you've always wanted to do, this might be the kind of place to try to push that.
Yeah.
No,
see, just be yourself gets me like in jail.
I know.
Yeah, it's probably not good for a couple of the characters in this mix. But Armando said something that stuck out to me, and I want to ask John this question because you've been going to ICast since 2016. You said,
yes,
and so what are some things you shouldn't do at ICast?
Drink moonshine during the show. John, you're out.
Yeah.
He pulls the jar up.
Honestly, Brian, everybody's there to show off their product for next year, and I, my first year down there, I was all about the swag, running around. Oh, hey, what do you got? Are you giving out any samples or what's, and some did, some didn't, and I left with a few things, but then I realized, that's not the kind of person they want to see down there.
Yeah.
And like you and I talked about last year, Brian, when you go down there, give them a business card, let them see who you are, sell yourself, but don't try to sell it. Don't try to expect anything.
Yeah.
Because they're all down there. It's the show to show. And there are a lot of deals made with people buying product. When I took a friend of mine I graduated high school with back in 2017 down. And his only purpose to go down there was to see what was coming out so he could buy his sons a couple new kayaks. Well, when he left, this guy had money. He's a lot like Brian.
Like me, I ain't got no money.
But
What the hell are you talking about?
Hey, Brian, when he left, he had a bona fide contract and a new canoe contract. And he took his apparel store, cleaned out one side of it just so he could become a kayak shack.
Yeah.
So his wife has never forgave me for that.
Something that I would say just kind of on what he's talking about is like he said, with the freebies and stuff, that's not the kind of people they want to talk to, and how they're selling for next year. That's I can't remember who it was that I talked to, and this was last year when I was trying to go, was telling me it was Drew Gregory. That's exactly who it was. And he was telling me, he was like, they're down there to make money.
Yeah.
To bring in new cash flow for the next year.
Yep.
It was like, they're not trying to find somebody that's going to cost them money at the time. So keep your conversation short and give them a very easy way to contact you later, but show your interest and then just kind of dip. Like if they offer to spend a few more minutes with you, that's when you've kind of got it. But for basically this is what we're doing. This is who we are. I'd love to have your support. I'm out, kind of, but again, still be professional as you can. And if you can carry conversations, that goes far too.
Well, and the thing is too, is like, if they got swag, they're going to give it to you. That's what they brought it for.
Exactly.
I had a really good tip from my new canoe director, Mike Schmitz. He said, on the last day of the show, go find all the Japanese vendors. He's like, because they don't want to ship it.
They
back
don't want to take
the
it back.
pond.
That's
like,
everybody,
good point.
buddy.
Yeah.
Well, what I did for this year, and is I did what Brian did last year. Except Brian didn't hand out his product stuff.
His paraphernalia.
So hopefully he'll do it this year. But I just brought some stickers, give out to the guys down there, and hopefully it gets one or two people to come and watch my little show, But with Paddle and Fin, I mean, good God, how would they not want to be part of you guys with the brand y'all have?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's besides the point. Let's get away from that aspect, right? Like, because that's something entirely different, and that's not what ICast is all about. And I think we're like, yes, there's part of that in there, right? But I want to bring up
ICast is marketing.
Yes, and Nicholas Beltran had a great comment in here. Tackle Fishing Adventures on YouTube. He says, lend a hand as much as you can and don't go for the freebies. And that's just it, right? Like we're all talking about, ICast is, basically all these vendors are trying to seal the deal on all their contracts or orders coming in for next year. So, I mean, if you're working with a company or you walk by a booth and it's a product you use, obviously, you want to say good things and maybe potentially help that company seal a deal with a shop or an online store, whatever it may be. But yeah, it's definitely networking for sure.
I'm gonna have to agree to disagree with you there. I'm not going to go and tell somebody from St. Croix I love their stuff and then go over and try to sell it because they're going to have their own pro staff there.
No, I'm not saying try to sell it, but if you get thrown in the mix of a conversation, I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah.
That kind of, I see where you're coming from.
Because I know I've seen stuff like it. Well, I know at the Feel Free booth in the past, they've actually, they'll ask you to go walk. They don't want you to spend the whole day at the booth. What they've asked us to do, and I'm sure New Canoe may be the same, especially the guys that are brand new, is they want you to throw on a hat, throw on a jersey, and walk around and be seen. Walk around and be seen. It's all marketing, and
Sure.
and then if there is somebody there, you can talk to them about your experiences with the boat. Because but for the new guys, the most thing you can do is go around and meet people that I think Jimmy hit on it earlier, is go around and talk to the people and see people that you've interacted with on your shows that you've never got to meet in person.
Mm-hmm.
And that will grow relationships there. And, and I don't know what your angle was, Brian, but all I know is Paddle and Fin is a place for people. They come to hear about product, hear about reviews, what all your shows talk about. And there's so many opportunities for them there to be able to utilize you to get the word out.
Sure. No, I don't disagree with that at all. I don't think that's what I was referring to, but
my bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a place like where I'm sure me, Jimmy, Armando are going to walk around, and this happened last year too. Like, made a bunch of contacts. Some of them went to our guys over on the Final Cast. Some of them we had on the OG show. Some may have ended up on some of the other segments, and that's just it too, right? Like I met some people that, like we talked about, I've done podcasts with several times, but never met them in person. Like Everett Park. That was the first time I ever met Everett last year.
Yeah.
And I had done probably 2 or 3 podcasts with him, and then obviously there was some products that some friends of mine used, and I went over, saw the booth, had some conversation, and now I rep some of those things, which is pretty cool, but at the end of the day, you're meeting some interesting folks from the industry we all love.
Yeah.
And if anything, you get to stand around and talk about fishing for 3-4 days,
And the main thing it's about, we get to see all sorts of cool new kick-ass gear before anybody else does.
Yeah.
And you guys that are going for the first year, they have a whole section roped off for all new product.
Yeah, new product showcase.
And you get to go over there and you get a little piece of paper, and they'll ask you to vote on different segments of it, like soft plastics, hard plastics, new gear, new spinning reel, new rods, and just get your opinion, and you get to vote on it. And that's
one thing I was excited about with going as a media editorial pass with Paddle and Fin, is I actually get to vote.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. So I didn't like it. Normally ICast, I'm excited for it because of all the new gear this year, since my head's in like the business game of it. I couldn't tell you what anybody has teased that they're bringing. I can tell you the first product because I haven't paid attention to it this year. So it's cool. I really do want to spend that like first day, spend some time in that, new product showcase booth, and like actually give them like a real vote. Like I want to actually just not pencil whip something. I want to really look at the new product. And then at the same time, I can turn that into a little bit of work stuff. I told Brad and Matt with the Final Cast, I told them I'm going to keep them busy, and I am. Like, we'll find out all these new product. I'll find out who you need to talk to, and I'll get them in touch with, Brad and Matt. And because, nobody's going to say no right now to coming on the podcast. They want to get this new product out in any possible way.
Exactly.
Make some moolah.
And if they like what you do, it could add to the beginning of your show. Sponsored by.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that's it. So I want to hit this from those folks that aren't going to ICast and what everybody looks for, what we're talking about, new products, right? Like that's why a lot of folks from the around the fishing world tune in, is because they want to see what's new that's coming out. Anybody see anything that they're looking forward to seeing at the show? Go ahead, John.
That casting rod.
Casting rod. Okay.
That new casting fishing rod. It's supposed to be a medium light and medium Icon series fishing rod that's that you can fish finesse with using a bait caster.
Okay. All right. How about you, Gibson?
Yeah, I'm not going, but I mean, there's definitely a few big baits that are coming out that they've shown a little bit already, like the Spro glide bait with the KGB collaboration.
Right.
I don't know.
I saw that.
It's interesting to me. I don't, I've been fishing my whole life and been reading Bassmaster my whole life, and I don't recall seeing as many collaborations with lure companies as there is now. I mean, it seems like, about a quarter of the new baits are a collaboration with somebody. Like, I know Missile's collaborating with RoboWorm, and it seems like a bunch of collaborations.
Yum just dropped one with Scottsboro.
Exactly, and those things are fire, man.
I love them.
Yes, they are awesome.
Well, 13 Fishing has a commercial out where they've worked with Gerald Swindle for the last 18 months.
Mm-hmm. They got I see somebody commented they got a saltwater series coming out.
Yep. Valley Adventures on YouTube says, I'm excited for the new Z-Man micro finesse baits in the Cashian BFS rods.
Yeah.
Is that what you were referring to, John? Was the BFS series?
The BFS is it's an Icon, but they got them under the BFS label. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about.
Okay.
The new Berkeley slop knocker. I'm interested to see that one. And I'm a huge. I preach the charity jackhammer gospel. But I mean, if there's a bait out there that can produce like a jackhammer and cost me less, I'll jump on that bandwagon. I'll tell you that much.
I'm gonna Google this because I haven't heard about this.
I haven't either.
It looks interesting because I don't want to go down this jackhammer rabbit hole, but the big thing about the jackhammer is the blade is attached to the jig head itself, so it creates this clicking noise that only two other companies can have a design because of the patent that can match that, and both of them are pretty much in the same price range, maybe a little bit cheaper than the jackhammer. But the Berkeley's, I mean, if you look at the pictures of it. It's pretty interesting. It's like the jig head itself has a hole in it, and it has like I don't know. I can't even explain it. But it looks. I've seen the videos. Cool. I've seen the videos, and I've kind of heard the videos. It has a very high pitched click, similar to the jackhammer. So I'm very interested. Yeah, in that one.
Just to go on off his description a little bit, just because I got it pulled up.
I can share the screen.
I'm gonna share it right now.
It's like the blade's attached right through the eye hole or the eye of the jig head. That's different. I like it.
Yeah, and it's interesting. The skirt's infused with power bait too. So
everybody knows that stuff works.
Yep,
that's cool. Do we have an estimated price, like a price value on it, Armando? Did you see any? Because you said cheaper than chatterbait. Did you see?
I'm hoping. I don't know the price.
It's $14 is what I saw.
Oh, it's the same with the jackhammer.
It's like $1 cheaper, maybe.
Yeah, it's $1.
That's interesting. They found a way around that patent, though.
It's an interesting concept for sure.
That's a redneck with a drill bit figured that out. I got money. Money.
It's funny. It was staring everybody in the face forever.
Yeah, three bush lights, one drill bit. Problem fixed.
Yeah.
And another product, kind of shameless plug here from my sponsor, Douglas Rod. But Douglas Rod is coming with a new lineup of third lineup now. They got the X Matrix and the LRS. They're coming with a more affordable rod lineup, and I don't know all the details about it, but it's going to be more affordable than the LRS.
Yeah,
and the quality of it, I don't know what the material is going to be. We'll get more info on that. They're keeping it really tight-lipped.
Yeah.
And then a couple Temple Fork Outfitters is doing the same thing. So I don't know if St. Croix there's a couple of rod companies coming out with this new lineup of rods, different materials. Supposedly they're going to be just as good, but cheaper. So it's not just Douglas, although I'm going to favor
I feel
Douglas.
like that's coming out of necessity from some of the other companies. Like I work with Dobbins. Dobbins has always had, I would say, 3 different series in the affordable range.
Yeah.
And the most expensive of that is a quality rod, Fuji guides, good blanks. You don't have issues out of them. And then you step into their high end stuff, like the same stuff in the price range, like a Loomis, like an NRX or something like that. I think that finally you're seeing more companies realize they're missing a market there.
Yeah.
And it's still these rods. I mean, I'm sure it'll be the same thing with Douglas. It'll be better than like the $50-$60 combo rod that's still got the big company name on it. But, affordable, like from 79 to like 129, something in there.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy to see, because I think that's what keeps a lot of people kind of benched from better rods. Is it's either like Walmart or, G Loomis, like go big.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like your average Joe is going out spending 300 bones on a rod. You know what I mean? And that's no lie.
Your non-average Joe will not do that. Like,
well, and I think that's it. They're just trying to hit another niche of the market, which is great, man. And it's cool to see other companies, catching on to that, because I mean, from a business standpoint, right? Like you get them on the low end rods, eventually they're going to want to upgrade a little bit, start believing in your rods at a cheaper price, and then they're going to spend some more. So it's a great entry level way to get some folks in and with your brand and fall in love with it and then work their way up that ladder. You know what I mean? So how about you, Jay? Anything?
I haven't really been following it much. But for me, it would just be really the atmosphere and the networking, just meeting everybody that you get to see, all the time, online and everything, just people like you just don't run into every day or even at tournaments, or some of the kayak shows.
Right on. I saw, I think it was, no, you're
wouldn't
good,
have
man.
expected anything else.
I saw Bailey Eichbrett post, I think it was last week or this week or something. And I know he does some work with Hummingbird and they're dropping something new, right? Like, I didn't see what that was. Did anybody see that?
I think it's called Active Target Lock.
I did see that.
Was that Hummingbird that did that? Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the concept behind that?
I honestly don't know.
Locking on target, obviously, Brian. Jesus.
Yeah. I think it's
so what? It's just going to follow a fish around or what?
Yeah.
Just
I think that it'll follow a signature when you lock on it from the little clips I've seen.
Wow.
It's like if you're active targeting, you can dial on in the area and it will continue to follow that area.
Well, might as well shoot a harpoon at the fish too.
It's like an attachment. It looks like an attachment to the trolling motor. So it's pretty good size.
I saw like my first underwater drone that Scott Martin used to film some smallies on Champlain, and I thought that you said the harpoon thing. I was like, who's the first person that's going to weaponize an underwater drone for smallmouth fishing?
Isn't that what they do in Portland now with smallmouth bass? Right. Remember that article?
That's crazy. No, it's always cool to see what the electronics companies are doing, especially with the advancements in that technology alone, right? Like it'll be super interesting to see what the whole new Hummingbird thing is, if Garmin launches anything new.
Man, I hope not. I'm still trying to play catch up with Garmin.
Well, I'm hoping so that way it drives down the price of like all the live scope and the Panoptic, so that way I can actually afford it and then wait 2 more years to upgrade that technology once again.
I'm just now getting good with old school tech. I really don't need
Same here.
But I'm already like, you know what? I can figure it out.
Jimmy's got a bucket with a glass bottom.
He's out there with a flogger.
A flogger, yeah.
Hey, I've seen one of those at work up at Lake Erie this year. My buddy, his name's Buddy Vance. He had one, He videoed it with his phone, and then he dropped down there.
I saw that. Yeah,
he caught it.
Oh,
That's cool.
He actually caught that fish.
You know what's funny going down that rabbit hole, Jimmy? My wife every now and then will ask me, just kind of show interest in what I do and all that. I know she doesn't really care, but just kind of like to have something to talk about. She'll ask me who won the tournament, how they won. And I always try to keep Drew Gregory out of the conversation just because how simple it does. She finds out Drew Gregory has a kayak that's a fraction of what my kayak costs with no electronics.
Rods,
and he's winning all those tournaments. Nah, that's it. She'll make me sell everything and go there.
There goes Armando's Hobie, his graph. He's going back to Zebco 303s.
His wife's love would be get better.
Yard sale at his house.
Yeah, right.
That's always me. I'll either want to go with more electronics or just, subscribe to the Drew Gregory gospel and just be a Drew Gregory follower.
Yeah,
and do what he does, which is not a bad idea considering the success that he's had.
He definitely is the thought that I have in my head that draws me back in when I'm
like
when I get aggravated as shit when I'm running my graph or something like that. I'm like, why am I doing this? Drew catches him in 3 inches of water.
No, it's interesting, man. It's always cool to see these new products come out for sure. What company are you guys looking most forward to going and taking a look at their booth and what they have? And we can start with Jimmy, then go Armando.
Oh no,
John,
I won't go
Matt.
last. I want to go last.
All right, go ahead, Armando.
I thought Gabe was gonna. Oh, Jimmy, you said Jimmy. Man, I don't know. I like to. I don't know. Like I said, some of the stuff I kind of want to be surprised at. So I haven't seen a lot of the kayaks that are coming out. I don't know if any kayak company's coming out with anything, new. I think it's nothing new. It's John may have something, but I'm definitely looking forward to checking out the kayaks and try them out. Different kayak brands that I don't usually see around here, and kind of try them out. I also, want to do content to put on the social media side of things, like the Instagram and my YouTube channel, which are just trying to get off the ground. So there's a lot of levels to this. One is, business side of it, find, sponsors and all that. The other one is I want to bring content to my listeners. I want to grow the social media channels. So I have to bring entertainment factor to this as well. So I'm interested to try out the new kayaks and then the new rods by Douglas. And beyond that, I mean, anything that comes out, new rods, new reels, that's always going to be like a big clickbait with everybody just kind of seeing what the new reels are coming out.
Cool. Mr. Rapp.
Oh, okay. Well, first things first, I got to break Armando's cherry with a little bit of this.
Oh, God.
He's going to change his name after he meets me at the Big Daddy's Moonshine Bass and show, But when it comes, no, man, really, I'm going to go to Cash and look at those new rods.
Okay.
I actually sent them a message. I don't know if they got it, but I told them if they had room to throw 2 extra ones in, because I would bring cash.
Okay.
And then I'm hopeful. I haven't looked at the itinerary, but I'm hopeful that our overseas components show up. The Japanese, the Koreans, the Thailand group with all of their products. Because I tell you, those people are serious about their fishing.
Oh, yeah.
And they have some great stuff. Back in 2017, I had a company from Japan send me a spool of fishing line. And they asked me to be a product tester. So that's the component I look forward to. Plus our designer from Malaysia is coming, Peter Murphy from Feel Free. And I'm looking forward to sitting down with him and talking to him a little bit more about our stuff. So at Feel Free. So.
Right on. Matt, if you were going to the show, what booth would you be most excited to wander over to and check out?
Well, I'm gonna throw a few at you. Strike King. They always have great baits. They always have new colors coming out. Berkeley would be another one. Their booth last year was huge. Had some really cool stuff in it.
Well, they won best product with that new Gilly, right?
Yep.
Or whatever they're calling it.
That thing's so sick.
Evergreen USA.
That's a good company.
They've got some really cool stuff too. They had some really cool hard baits. They had some other baits that were really cool. And then the last one is G-Rat. They make some glide baits. They make some larger swim baits. It's kind of a smaller company, less known company out of California, but they always bring some really cool stuff.
Nice.
For some reason, I was thinking they were from Australia. There's a company that's similar to them that makes the flight across the pond.
I like it. Randall, if you were going.
I'm actually looking at the list right now. There's a lot of huge names that are going to be here. I mean, Mustad.
Daiwa's another cool booth.
Yeah, they always got that thing decked out to the nines.
Yeah.
I'd probably go over to Eagle Claw.
Eagle Claw? Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you what, man. I mean, for the money, like those things, they deliver. I mean, they do. And they're you know what? They're terminals, so it's all good. I'd rather be throwing away
Eagle Claw, man.
No, dude, Eagle Claw makes some good stuff, man. Those laser,
really do.
Those laser hooks are awesome.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because Owner is one of the ones on my list.
Owner's good too.
I swear by their shaky heads. I'm starting to use some of their other terminal tackles, so I'm kind of interested in seeing their whole setup and what they offer because I've fallen in love with that shaky head, man. Like, you can't give me a different brand shaky head. I will tell you to take it and throw it in the lake before I tie it on any of my rods. But that's just me personally. But
that sounds like Beth. Beth loves the Owner hook for the Ned rig style of fishing. She won't use anything but their stuff.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it, right? All of us as fishermen, we have our own little, brands that we like for, whether it be shaky heads, Ned heads, style of chatterbaits, crankbaits, whatever it is, and that's what makes us all different and unique, which is cool. But yeah, that's one of the ones on my list. Owner, you mentioned Eagle Claw, which is a terminal tackle mostly, So, Jimmy, how about you, man?
So I love, I don't really have any of the names. I've talked to you about this. I'm excited to see some of the smaller companies, I definitely have a huge list of the big companies. I definitely plan on going and hanging out with the Gamakatsu guys, Sunline, Shimano, stuff I've used for a long time now. I just want to meet some of the people behind all that and, talk with them and see if they got anything new. Going to check out all the kayak stuff, obviously, if anybody's bringing new boats or accessories. I talked to the Blake on the phone today, Blake Young with, the owner of New Canoe. It sounds like he's fired up to get the booth set up and got some plans to do some stuff with that. So it'll be cool to check all that out. And then a lot of the apparel companies, get their start doing stuff like this. Not really their start, but this is if they've paid the money to get a booth at ICast, they're not bad because they've got to have some kind of money flow. And we've got great companies like NRS and Realtree Outdoors and Under Armour that make great clothing lines. But I watched a video the other night of a walkthrough video. It was not stopping at any booths, but a guy did a 40-minute video just walking through ICast filming. And I saw a lot of small companies that I would definitely stop and, pick their brain, check out their product and, maybe start a relationship there because, the perfect time, they're looking for the exposure and help and you're looking for support and the same thing. So that's how a good relationship comes to be. And then the other thing I'm probably more excited for than just the booths and product stuff is the lunch and learns. They've got some little like lunch seminars going on like content creation, managing, like marketing, social media marketing, stuff like that. And we could all use, if we're all taking this somewhat serious, we all need whatever little edge we can get. So
yeah,
that's kind of the plan. I'll have a totally different game plan after the first day, but we'll figure it out.
Just remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint, brother.
That's right.
That's exactly right.
It's a
bring
long
good shoes.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes. Hydrate.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you bring
Those
up a
40 stretch.
Tuesday's the brutal one because they don't turn that AC on till like later in the evening because the doors are all open. They're bringing in crates and goods for everybody. So
let's just pray they get a lot of setup done Monday then.
Yeah.
Last year it was done.
What'd you say, Matt?
Last year it was done on Monday. So, and it was even.
Well, no, we were setting up Tuesday because I got in Monday night, and Tuesday we were still setting up, and that's when I drank like 10 bottles of water, and I sweated it all out because I think I only went to the bathroom once.
Yeah, you weren't laying that floor though. That was brutal, brother. Let me tell you.
You're talking to a guy who laid flooring for 15 years. Don't want to hear it.
I am excited, just to add, I'm excited to see some of the booths, not particularly for their product, but like I saw in that same video, like Costa had a 2-story lounge that they set up for a show. I was like, oh, that would be badass to check out. Like,
yeah, some of the booths they go over the top, man. Like,
they do
displays and stuff like that. It's very cool, and I think if my memory serves me correct, I think it was the Costa booth. They had like a live band play for a little bit of the show or something from their booth.
About like going over the top. I like it.
2 years ago, they had girls dancing.
I mean,
3 years ago.
It was a different kind of show then.
that was after 17.
It was a lot like that show.
I think that was called Ice Strip, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was the stripper convention, bro.
You're getting him confused, John.
Sure were a lot of dollars there. That's weird.
I know. I can't remember the company it was. I was talking to somebody that works with, one of these brands that does ICast, and he was telling me that, like, their ICast setup is like $130,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
They've got it stored in a building, and they just kind of revamp it or change it up each year. But like they have a giant hole, like a giant piece of their yearly budget is ICast.
Yeah. I mean, just the floor space alone that they're renting. Like,
I'd love to know what prices are on that.
You can look it up. Some of the bigger booths, like we're talking about, like the Daiwas, the Costas, things like that. I mean, they're spending 10 to 20 grand just on floor space.
Yep.
Oh my Lord. I just wish I had that kind of money. Like, you know what? What's 20 G's? Let's just put down 20 G's. But I mean, it becomes a business expense,
Right. Well, and that's what it is. Like, that's what we're going back to, right? Every time we're bringing this stuff up, it's at the end of the day, it's all about business, But
I mean, it is kind of depressing. We can't really buy anything. Because God knows, like, I'd cut loose like it's the Bassmaster Classic Expo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you're going home and your wife's got all your stuff on the front step.
I wish it was like the East Tennessee show.
So Jimmy, you've been in the Bassmaster Expo.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be interested to see what your thoughts are between the shows, because it seems like any more Bassmaster show, I know that's a anybody public show, but
right,
they still do a lot of reveals there. It seems like it's half and half now.
And it's I feel like that plays into where it is too, because I've only been to one, but I had a buddy that went to one here and then one in the most previous one. When the Classic was at Gunnersville 2020, that was the beginning of COVID. That was a huge show, because it took up 3 stories of the Birmingham Jefferson Convention Center, and that is not a small venue to begin with, and it just kept going and kept going. And some of those booths were probably closer to $250,000, like fish tanks, the fancy couches and lighting and music and then like Matt said, they were revealing product. You could purchase it right then. Like it was insane. And that I kind of the same thing you said. I'm kind of looking to see, because I mean contacts were made there. You meet people, and I worked in a booth, and it's kind of just like the second part of ICast, I guess. But that's the beginning of the season. But still, I don't know. It'd be cool to compare them.
Did you see like how many exhibitors there are at ICast?
Yes. Oh, I saw that list now. I was just looking at it now.
It's like amazing. 536.
Yeah.
I would put money on that it was almost that, if not more, when the Classic was at Gunnersville, because it was before COVID, because it was in March. Yeah. COVID was just starting to like break into the US. And like like the main floor, I think is like it's got a crazy number, like 200,000 square feet. And then there's an escalator that goes up to another big room and an escalator that goes down to another big room, and it's still packed. So it was probably in that same, because I mean it's mostly these same companies,
right?
Like they're there too. Like
I was at the Bassmaster Classic last year here when it was in Fort Worth, Texas. Mm-hmm. And it was big. Now they, because of COVID, same thing. They moved it to summer. And it was hot. Mm-hmm. And one section of the, of the product showing and all that was in a cattle barn, like literally. And the stench of cattle manure at 100-degree weather was just unbearable.
That sounds pleasant.
No, it doesn't. But they have another section was the air conditioning. That's where all the big companies were. And it's pretty impressive. That's where they had the stage, where they were doing the live shows for the Classic. So it was pretty impressive all in all. But looking at the floor plan for ICast, it looks a lot bigger than what they had for that Classic here in Fort Worth.
I mean, I'll go back to, again, like last year. It's always in Orlando now. Yeah. And going off the video last year, this guy was walking around, not stopping at any booths, and it was a 40-minute video.
Sure.
So if you don't stop and look at anything, it takes you 40 minutes to get around everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's going to be bigger than last year, so
exactly,
it'll be even more, which is cool, man. I'm looking forward to it. Let's start winding it down because we're almost at an hour, and I got to pack my stuff. Let's start with you, Jimmy,
yes,
and
sir.
We'll go through the whole list. Like, final thoughts, anything you want to wrap up with in regards.
Just excited. Get to hang out with you and see John and Armando. We're gonna hang out for a little bit. We're gonna catch a meal. I'm sure we'll run across each other at the show multiple times. Looking forward to the shenanigans that we're getting into before and after it. Almost more. I've realized I've been paying more attention to that than I have been the actual show in the last few days, getting all of our plans worked out. But yeah, just excited to be down there and get away from reality for a little bit and, do a little work for something else other than just the day job and come home and hopefully it's a fruitful trip.
Right on. Armando?
Well, based on what John Rapp said, I'm just going to hang out with John Rapp. Seems like he knows where I think I need to hang out with John Rapp. And I'll just let him, man. Yeah, I'll just let him. I'll tag along wherever he wants to go. Looks like he knows all the cool spots.
Armando's not going to leave the filthy booth. He's got jars in each hand of moonshine.
By the end of the show, Armando's going to have his Hobie sold by the time he gets home and 3 feel frees on order.
I love you, John, but that part's not going to happen. No, I'm really interested. Like I said, as far as what products are going to be out there, I'm not exploring that too much because I want to be like the kid in the candy shop for the first time. Sure. But I'm excited to learn, the business side of things other than doing the podcast, other than going out fishing. So I'm excited to pick the brain of other people that have done this before, get to network with people, get to know more the business side of it. I'm excited to bring a different style of content to the channel and the podcast. Not everybody gets to go to ICast, so that's going to be something that I want to focus on. And, and as far as sponsorship and all that, I don't want to go up with too much expectation. Just kind of learn, like John or Matt, I can't remember who said it, but it's not, that applies not just to ICast, but growing the brand. It's not 100-mile, it's not a 100-meter dash, it's a marathon. So you grow your brand slowly, you make connections. Some things work out. It may click immediately. Other connections are going to work out over time. Just kind of put the name out there, put the paddle and fin brand out there, the Bass Kayak and Beers brand out there, and just show my value to these companies and to my audience.
Right on. Mr. Rapp?
Well, Armando, my brother, I've got some watermelon shine.
Here we go.
Are your keys on your back tire outside your car right now?
And some apple. And Jay, per your request, I got some cherry I'm bringing down.
I want some apple too.
But listen, everything that you guys have said, Jimmy, Armando, is key to why I am going to my 6th ICast. Is one, relationships. I look forward to seeing people that I don't get to see in person, but maybe once a year, and it's at this event. Just like our paddle and fin events that we go to down at Eastport Marina in April, this is one of the other I can't miss events. So I look forward to, and this is be the 3rd time that I'm driving. So, like I showed you guys earlier, I've got the kayak and everything loaded up, locked up. But I just look forward to socializing. That's it for me.
Sure.
This year, Brian, I am setting up, with your tutelage and help, and Jay, you guys. I started the Rusty Hook podcast last year, and about 4 months ago, I've been doing a monthly airing for Feel Free Kayaks.
Yep.
So I just did a show 2 nights ago where we brought out our sneak peek for the Dorado V2. It was supposed to have already been here, and it's actually at North Carolina, but where they're already on the way to ICast, they don't have it to take with them. But a lot of new stuff with that. We've got a couple other things coming out that I can't talk about. But I'm setting up my computer right there at the booth, and we're going to do some live feeds on the Feel Free podcast. So
Nice.
Again, because of my relationships with you guys, I've learned so much over the last year that I've been able to expand from just doing a local show that now that I'm hosting a national brand show. So
Sure.
thank you guys. I appreciate everything you've done.
Just be careful what you wish for, bro.
That's right.
Last year I did 1 show out of the new canoe booth. This year it's 16 or something crazy. So
Yeah,
Get
it'd be a lot
ready.
of interviews.
get ready, bro. Mr. Gibson.
That's what he is.
Yeah, first off, safe travels to you guys down there. Have a good time down there.
Thank you, Matt.
And looking forward to Brian's podcast from there, John's podcast, and then Armando's footage. It's always interesting to kind of see the media that isn't the mainstream media or a company's media cover ICast and get kind of a true feeling of what ICast is. So looking forward to that for sure.
Like it. Mr. Randall?
Well, I'm not going as we talked about, but I do get to see Brian and John, and then Jimmy later in the week. So there's that. No, that'll be fun. No,
I got to get you boys on some Gunnersville fish. That's I'm looking forward to it.
Did
Yeah,
you already nail that down?
That's a bucket list for me. I've never fished Alabama, so I
Me
can't wait.
either. Me either.
You won't want to go anywhere else except
Hey,
Will.
well, I have
Except
to
Texas.
we'll have to kick out some teeth so I mix in with all of that.
Brother, you live in Tennessee. Your teeth should already be methed out by now. So.
They look really white on here too. So I don't know, man. Like they always look at me weird everywhere I go. So
Just watch it. Someone will knock them out for you.
To touch on what Gibson talked about, as getting an aspect for those that aren't going and things like that. Jimmy and I had talked, and we're going to kind of shoot a video series of this week because, like we've already talked about, me, Jimmy, and John are meeting up on the way down to the show, doing some fishing. We're meeting at Armando at the show. We got a lot of other podcasters, influencers that we're meeting up with. And I know there was a message that went out today. And I think we're going to try to orchestrate some kind of dinner like Thursday night for a bunch of these podcasters to get together. But not only that, but shoot content from around the show, what it takes to get there, what goes on during the show, the good, the bad, the ugly, and then that ride home and how we felt about the show, what we thought was good, bad, and all that good stuff. So it'll be interesting. We're going to release that in multi-series. There's going to be some fishing involved. There's going to be some of the show involved. There's going to be some shenanigans involved, things like that. So it'll be definitely interesting, aspect of what ICast is always, or what it really is about. A lot of people fantasize and think it's a certain thing. Like me personally, I thought it was completely different than what I entailed last year. And me and Gibson had some very long, extensive conversations about that after the show as we were waiting in airports and things like that going on to our next show, so it's definitely an interesting show, and can't wait to share that with some of you guys. And not only that, but like John touched on, man, there's so many people that I know that this is the only time of year I get to see those folks. And it's nice to actually stand in front of a person and have a conversation, rather than like we all are right now, So
right.
We will have some live podcasts coming out of the show as well. I know I got some lined up. We're going to be shooting a bunch of content. I know Armando always posts on our Instagram, so I'm sure Armando's going to post some stuff over there.
Will do.
Jimmy's planning on shooting some stuff. We'll post that up on Facebook, YouTube, whatever. The three of us combined that are going to be there. We're always knocking out content, and like John's going to be doing some podcasts out of the Feel Free booth. Are those broadcasts on the Feel Free Facebook and YouTube page, John?
Yeah, the Feel Free Fishing Team page is the main page.
Okay. And then I know I'm doing a bunch of shows on the New Canoe Facebook and YouTube page as well, going through our whole lineup and the interesting things we got cooking over there. So be on the lookout for that. And should be a good time, man.
A little teaser real quick. I plan on at some point taking over the Instagram for Paddle and Fin and doing live streams. So, depending on how much bandwidth this place has got, but if you follow us, make sure you got your notifications turned on for everything. I was going to I can go ahead and tell you, so be looking for it. Once we get down there, I'm going to do some, posts, and you tell me what companies you want to see, and I'll go shoot a little live video in there. Hopefully get to talk to somebody, or just give you a kind of a better walkthrough of the booth than, if there's a product like this new Slump Donkey or whatever that thing from Berkeley is. If you want to see it, I'll go find it, and I'll do a live on the Paddle and Fin page, and we'll all check it out together.
Yeah, definitely message the Instagram page or the Facebook page. You could shoot us an email, and if there's something you guys want to see, shoot us a message, and we'll go take a video of it. And I'll even go as far as if you send me a personal message, I will FaceTime you, and I will walk you around the show as much as you want. I'll do that for up to 5 people because I'm limited on time down there.
I was fixing to say he's only got like 43 minutes of free time as it is. So
no, I got a little more than that, but
that's going to be on the OnlyFans / Brian Schiller account. Just
yeah.
How else
Don't
do you
hate-
think we make money, guys?
don't hate the player, hate the game, bro.
And that's the 2 channel, not the 1 channel.
If you want,
It's really important you know that.
All right. If you want a personal walkthrough of ICast, I'll give you guys a good 15 minutes on a FaceTime call, whatever. The first 5 people to message me, and we'll schedule a time during the show that I have free, and I'll send you a bunch of options, and I'll walk you through the show, and you guys can see what it's like. So, if not, you'll just have to wait for all the content. So, yeah. On that note, guys, gals, folks traveling down, safe travels. For those of you itching to see all those new products, next week is the week, and look forward to sharing everything with you guys. And we're doing the OG show live Thursday morning. Jay won't be on, so
But
Hey,
not
Jay,
Jay Randall.
see you
will
at
be.
501.
Jay,
Yeah.
you get next week off,
All
bro.
Sweet. Let me plan something.
Yeah. So
We all know he's not wearing pants already, so he's just going to continue that.
he had to look down to make sure. That's funny.
But
So,
I mean, it's
I know Mike McKinstry is going right now. Yes.
Yeah. He's got. Oh my goodness.
I'm just glad he don't have his cat on his lap.
I know, right?
Everyone's like, this show is really good until the end.
I love it. Thanks everybody that tuned in. We're here every Thursday night, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 5 o'clock out on the West Coast. As always, when we get done, this gets uploaded to all the major podcast platforms. Thank you everybody who tunes in, listens, and we appreciate you. Exception next week, it'll be a morning show versus an evening show, but obviously you could always watch it on the YouTube, the Facebook, and things like that. So until next time, boys and girls, tight lines, smooth paddle. Peace.